Minasan konnichiwa und willkommen. And today I'm actually going to be showing off my Nintendo Switch collection because I'm a massive, massive gamer. Without further delay, let's begin the video. First off, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Pretty much an updated port of the Wii U version that came out many years ago.
It's a go time! Super Mario Kart 8 Deluxe!
And every single character had to be unlocked in the Wii U version. But in the Switch port, they are already unlocked right from the start. The only things you have to unlock are Gold Mario and the parts for the carts. Next, we have New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. The main reason to pick this game up, because of Toadette. I mean, she's just so adorable. And that unique power-up specific to her. And that's Peachette. I tell you, it's really a fun platformer. Then defeating King Koopa at the end. Yes, I call him that because of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Bros. Super Show! Speaking of pasta, where's that lunch you promised? Next, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, this has over 70 playable fighters in the base game, including Bayonetta, Simon and Richter Belmont from Castlevania, Snake from Metal Gear Solid, Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, and the titular character from Mega Man, or Rockman in Japan. It's a really fun fighting game that I recommend anyone pick up and play. Then it also has my boy Ganondorf in here, and Isabelle. Even King K. Rool's in here. Next we have the original Warriors Orochi 4, which is actually Musou Orochi 3 in Japan. It's a really fun hack and slash with some RPG elements. You know, leveling up your characters and upgrading your weapons. And I mean, you can't go wrong with hearing famous Japanese voice actors like Masashi Ibara, Hideo Ishikawa, and Takeshi Kusao. Highly recommend it. And its Ultimate Expansion Pack. Next we have the Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy. It truly is insane, alright. Especially with the amount of great voice work from mostly Germany and Japan. Well, mostly to hear the late great Shozo Iizuka, the original Japanese voice of Nappa, before Tetsuo Inada took over the role in 2009. Now, these are actually great remasters of old school PlayStation games from the 90s. The original, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped, also known as Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. Really fun platformers to play, especially if you have the German or Japanese settings turned on your Switch. Next, we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Since I don't have anyone to play online with, I prefer playing the game using offline mode. And it's got some good roster members, like the old staples like Vegeta. You know, your father was an average fighter, Kakarot, but he was a brilliant scientist. Or, Vegeta Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! Which is actually Hasei Joda in the original Japanese version, which translates roughly as higher than 8,000. Next we have LEGO DC Supervillains, especially with its stellar voice cast, like the late great Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. You know, Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars franchise. Especially when he laughs, man. Such a fun game to play. Especially with the German and Japanese settings on. Next we have Dragon Quest XI S, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition. Such a really fun RPG if you're a fan of Akira Toriyama's work. You know, the same guy responsible for Dragon Ball, well, the main reason I wanted the Switch version of the game, because of the Japanese voice acting, 2D mode, and symphonic music. Because I really could care less about the MIDI arrangements. I personally prefer the symphonic soundtrack, just like with Dragon Quest VIII on PlayStation 2. Again, because of the symphonic soundtrack. Next we have Sonic Mania. Now, Sonic Mania is a really challenging platformer. What I'm holding here is actually the version without any of the DLC built into the cartridge. It's just basically originally a digital game that got a physical retail release. Hence why it doesn't have the plus on the packaging. But it's a really fun, challenging platformer if you're a fan of Sonic. And we have another Sonic game here, Sonic Forces. Now, if you own the PS4 or Xbox One versions, they added German and Italian. The Switch version does not. Just English, Japanese, Castilian Spanish, and French European. Another fun game to play. Next we have an independent game called Owlboy. Really fun, unique platformer, which stars an anthropomorphic owl. You know, getting some upgrades in that. And the main reason to buy this game, mostly because of the Japanese, Norwegian, and Brazilian Portuguese translations. Well, mostly Norwegian, the way it was originally intended. Yep, Norwegian text, the way it was originally intended. Because I'm actually Norwegian myself. Next up we have Dragon Ball FighterZ, another fun Dragon Ball game for the Switch. Knowing that the base game has a really small roster compared to Budokai Tenkaichi 3 on PlayStation 2, which has a really large roster at that time, you know, before Dragon Ball Super even existed. You know, let's get a move on, Whis. You know, Lord Beerus. Yeah, really fun fighting game. And the advantage of having the Switch version is the simplified controls. Next we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. Another fun hack and slash with a good amount of RPG elements, where you take control of various Marvel characters from various different sources. like Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Captain America, Wolverine, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, among various others. Then Cyclops and Colossus via a free update. I highly recommend the game if you're a fan of Marvel. Next, we have the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. 3 fun 3D platformers that have been remastered from the ground up. But the main reason I wanted this compilation, mostly because of Swedish and Brazilian Portuguese support. Svenska and Português do Brasil. Gut, tack, tudo bem, muito obrigado. I recommend the remastered versions over the original PlayStation games. Next up we have Rayman Legends Definitive Edition. Another really fun platformer, and it's from Ubisoft. Now, if you want the Japanese version of the game, you have to import it from Japan. Because the American version has English, French, Castilian Spanish, German, and Italian. Trust me, I'm familiar with those kind of languages. There's no Latino support anywhere, just the European dialect. But it's still a really fun platform if you're a fan of Rayman. Next up we have Trials of Mana, which is actually Seiken Densetsu 3 Trials of Mana in Japan. A really fun action RPG, especially with the Japanese dialogue with German subtitles. Highly recommend it. Then the original 16-bit soundtrack from the Super Famicom. Next, Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age, which is based on the International Job System on the Japanese PlayStation 2. A really, really fun RPG, especially with the Japanese voice acting with German text and symphonic music. Next we have My Hero Wants Justice 2, which is actually Boku no Hero Academia Wants Justice Z. A really fun anime fighter, because I love anime fighting games. And my main in this game is Momoya Yorose. You know, one of Deku's friends. Highly recommend that game if you're a fan of anime like me. Next we have Yoshi's Crafted World. I tell you, it's a really cute and fun little platformer, because it's everyone's favorite green dinosaur, Yoshi. But I say the pink Yoshi's a lot cuter. Yoshi! And my Japanese name is Yoshi Tanaka. My German name is Ludwig von Strauss. And my Spanish Latino name is Lorenzo Santos Martinez. Next we have The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. A great remake of an old Game Boy game from 1993. Highly recommended if you're a fan of Zelda, or Zelda. Next we have Donkey Kong Country Return, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, especially with Funky Mode, which is pretty much the easy mode of the game. Highly recommended if you're a fan of Donkey Kong. Next, the Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection. A great compilation of 6 games from the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. Highly recommend that compilation if you're a fan of Mega Man, or Rockman in Japan. Next we have Shantae Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. I tell you, it's a really fun and creative platformer. Especially with all the DLC already on the cartridge. And I do mean all the DLC is already on the cartridge. No additional payments required.